100 grand Ross with The Rock never stops. The trade deadline has come. It is gone. And the Detroit Pistons are now with Kevin Herter, Dario Saric, um, and no Jaden Ivy. And we got to talk about this. We got to talk about Trajan Langdon. Talk about Tom Gore. Um, is this what we expected at the deadline? Is this where we expected to be left at? I don't know. But we need to talk about it because a lot of other teams did make moves. The Atlanta Hawks, the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference, even the Toronto Raptors, all made moves. They all made moves. And we got Kevin Herter. Let's talk about it. But before I do, as always, do me a favor, smash the like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notification. Remember, it's a small thing for you, but a big thing for the channel. And if you can, go ahead and become a member in 2026. Why not? It definitely helps with the ongoing production of the channel. And we have a dope community, bro. We got a dope. I mean, there's some folks who got, a cool chat and me having little conversations, but ours though, that conversation be lit. I be trying to track it all. I can't even track it all. I just know every time I peep in, y'all be having great conversations, great ideas. I even did a short video of a conversation I had with one of my subscribers who left a comment, right? So feel free to join this community, become a member, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications, and definitely hit that like button. Look, let me just start off with this. I think most of us, when we saw the Ivy trade, we had a lot of mixed feelings. Because I think a lot of us still held out hope for Jaden Ivy. Many of us believed that Jaden Ivy still had tremendous promise and potential. His ceiling was still sky high in our minds. Sky high meaning all-star level. I still believe he has an all-star level type of outlook. And yet, the Detroit Pistons did not believe that was worth investing in, holding on to, maintaining some level of optimism around his career with the Detroit Pistons, despite the family ties, the community ties, and just how much the community has rallied around Jaden Ivy. And most of y'all know I'm not just like the absolute Jaden Ivy fan. I started off on the other end of the spectrum. I was like, man, he's dribbling off his foot. Get him out of here. Right. And then I saw last season, I was like, yo, the kid has got something. The young man has got something. And it's worth something to the Detroit Pistons. It's his potential and what he can become for us. And somehow, Trajan Langdon, Tom Gore, did not believe he did. JB Bickerstaff may have been involved in it too. But they made a decision about Jaden Ivy. And Jaden Ivy also made his bed. I was one who said, don't come back until you're ready to start. How he played in the last few games should have been how he started when he came back. And if he wasn't ready to play at that level, he should not have come back. He lowered his own value to his own organization. Maybe he thought he was helping us out. Bro, we were on a roll. Maybe he thought he was helping himself out by getting more time and more reps. But it didn't necessarily work out like that. All in all, Jaden Ivy is now a Chicago Bull. And I feel some kind of way trading what I call in-house within your division. Who does that? That's not the move. Trading a player within your division. That is not something that I would ever recommend for a team to do, especially one that has an all-star level ceiling. Now, we can look at the Jaden Ivy trade from a lot of different vantage points. Doug McMiniman in the chat. What's good? Salute, brother. Mr. Pierce, Classic 76. Salute, salute. Maddox Vasio. Salute, salute. He says Jaden Ivy shooting a higher percentage from three than Herter this year and last. You know, bro, we're going to talk about it. He says, also, I believe the issue was money and the Pistons really did him a solid. I don't think so. Don't the Bulls have Anthony Simons? Don't the Bulls have Josh Giddey? They traded away Al DeSumo, and we're going to talk about that as well. But don't they still have Trey Jones? Don't they still have a bevy of guards that play very similar, who are playing better right now? And you're telling me we did Jaden Ivy a solid. He's got to adjust to a new coach, a new system, a new set of teammates. He also has Isaac Okoro there, Matas Buzelis. He has a new center. I believe they just got Nick Richards. He's got a whole bunch of adjustments he's going to have to make in a short amount of time in hopes that he can prove his worthiness. More than likely, he's signing a 1-and-1 deal, which would probably be for less than what he would have signed with had he stayed with Detroit because of the context in which he existed on this team. The community ties, the fanfare, the flashes he's shown us. He probably would have signed for a 1-and-1 this year and likely gotten somewhere around 10 million a year with a +1, meaning one guaranteed, one either team or player option. Likely would have been a player option. And what this would have done for Jaden Ivey was give him a little bit more time, like an extra year. Instead, he's in Chicago. And we have Kevin Herter. As Doug McMiniman pointed out, who shot worse than Jaden Ivey the past 2 years? And like, I do understand Doug in the chat. He says he believes he's worth $30 million and was not going to get that chance with Detroit. He wasn't going to get $30 million the moment he came back from injury and stunk it up for a month and a half. That was on him. And maybe he asked out, and maybe it comes out later that he asked out, meaning he not demanded a trade, but said, hey, send me someplace else. And we obliged. Chicago was not the place to go, bro. Chicago was not the place to go. Simply wasn't. So we didn't do Jaden Ivey any favors. And I can't really say that we were done any favors. If Kevin Herter shoots the air out the ball like Duncan Robinson, if he has a Sacramento Kings resurgence, like he's playing alongside Domantas Sabonis again and De'Aaron Fox, if he has that type of resurgence, then okay. Okay. I can give us a higher grade. But right now, this trade, I'm giving us a D. I can't say plus. I'm being generous not to say a D minus. This was a low-hanging fruit, easy, nothing complicated trade. And if I'm honest, it's becoming a track record of Trajan Langdon. Trajan, you were supposed to get Jalen Duren, potentially Jaden Ivey, locked up last summer, especially Duren. Now you're going to be paying him probably $15 to $20 million more than what you would have had you locked him up last year. Okay, you let him play it out. Cool. You're going to end up giving Duren probably somewhere around $35 million. Right? That's what Alperen Şengün is making, about 33, 34 million, 35 next year. It's about what you're going to give to Jalen Duren, making his first All-Star game. But then you bring in Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric. 2 expiring deals. Now, maybe, maybe you're thinking, hey, we're just clearing the books because we want to make sure we bring back Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren, Javonte Green, which I am 100% all the way for, and most importantly, Dennis Jenkins. Now, Tobias Harris, he's not going to command $26.5 million. What up, though, D-Dubs? What's good? What's good? What's good? But keep in mind, we're already under the cap, bro. We didn't need to necessarily clear cap space. So what do we really do these moves for? This is a major question. What did we really do these moves for? Now, I had some conjecture yesterday. I said, well, maybe he opens up things for Asar Thompson to get more minutes because having that designated sniper shooter who moves like a shooter, right? Coming off of screens, back and forth, moving laterally, side to side, east, west, sideline to sideline, coming off of screens, pin downs, picks, dribble handoffs, all that stuff. It opens up the offense. It forces defenders to fight around screens. It forces defenders to play up higher at the three-point line, which creates more openings in the interior, which is where the Detroit Pistons feast. Maybe. Whole lot of maybes. This is what I do know. James Harden is an all-star who has put a hurting on us. Donovan Mitchell is an all-star, all-NBA player who's put a hurting on us. Cleveland got better. They moved their needle forward. I like keeping receipts, so I want to see all this. I'm going to look at the standings real quick. Cleveland got better. Boston went out and got our arch nemesis center, Nikola Vucevic. So he gonna shoot a whole bunch of threes. Remember, Boston, Boston's whole game plan. Shoot hella threes. Shoot as many threes as you can see. You can see it, you can shoot it, you can believe. Si se puede. Yes, we can. Shoot as many freaking threes as we can see, as we can let off. And they grabbed a center who can do that. Nikola Vucevic. Also, I guarantee you, Nikola Vucevic is going to look so much better in Boston alongside Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, guys who know how to get people the ball, especially in the post, who can still give you the jump hook over the right, over the left, turn over both shoulders. Boston got significantly better. Significantly better. Okay, let's go to New York. They grab Jose Alvarado. Everybody's favorite feisty barnyard dog. Everyone's favorite grimy, guard you 94 feet, scratch, claw, scrape, kick, hit, slap, punt, do everything he can to make your life miserable guard. Jose Alvarado, who can also shoot. So the Knicks get some depth. I would say it makes them better, especially at a position of need. Perimeter defense, athleticism along that perimeter. You got Toronto, brings in Trace Jackson Davis. It's not the biggest move. It's not a bad move either. It's kind of a lateral move, but they needed a center, especially with Jakopoto out. So they got marginally better. I'm going to scroll down here to the Atlanta freaking Hawks. God, did they get better? Not just the move, Trae Young bringing back CJ McCollum. Not just the Jack Londale move, who's underrated as a big. One of those guys that just does everything you want him to do and just does it at a high level. He's just smart player you just love to have on your roster. But also keep in mind, it still got Onyeka Okongwu, Corey Kispert, another shooter, Zachary Reese-Shea, Dyson Daniels, Asa Newell, who definitely needed more playing time. Muhammad Gay definitely needed more playing time. Duop Reith, 3 and D. He can hit threes, block shots, center, 6'11", 7 feet. Not to mention Christian Coloco, Caleb Houston. Not to mention the year that Nickeil Alexander-Walker is having, Jalen Johnson. They had to go out and get my boy Jonathan Kuminga too. Just greedy. Atlanta just greedy as hell. Speaking of greedy, I want to get greedy on this channel. Can y'all smash a like button for me? Hey, real talk. Hey, do me the favor. Remember, it's a small thing for you to press a little button. It's a big thing for the channel. It's a big thing for the channel. All right, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications too. And consider becoming a member. Hit that join button. Become a member of the channel in this community. Let me just say, Jonathan Kuminga to the Atlanta Hawks is no small feat. It is no small thing. They are bringing in 20 to 25 points a game. Next to all-star Jalen Johnson. Next to Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who might get most improved player. Next to CJ McCollum. Next to Onyeka Okongwu, Dyson Daniels. This squad is a squad. I don't want to see them in the playoffs. I do not want to see the Atlanta Hawks in the playoffs. This Atlanta Hawks team reminds me of the Hawks that won 62 games. Where everybody was good, better than average, even if not great. And they just ran through everyone. Had it not been for LeBron, they're probably in the NBA Finals. I told a lot of y'all, like, my background is in psychology, right? And one of the things that you learn in sports psychology is that when you have a team, organization, etc., and everyone is around the same level of talent, know-how, skill, ability, the performance of the individuals tend to rise because unconsciously they see themselves as needing to do more. And so they look for opportunities to do more. But when teams have an elite talent that is by far and away clearly better than them, greater than them seemingly, they tend to defer. So they do less. So one player is given more responsibility while everyone else drops down. It's an unconscious thing. It's a bias, internalized bias. I'm less capable because this guy seems to have attributes that I've been told make him better. He's taller, looks stronger, jumps higher, runs faster, has more skills, da da da. So I can't do that. So I don't try to do as much. It's a natural phenomenon, but it's also encouraged by bias and shit like that. All right. The Atlanta Hawks have the type of team that everyone's going to look to not just produce, but play at a high level. Also, shout out, they traded Luke Kennard for Gabe Vincent. Now they got more guard depth, ball handling. They just got all the shit, man. And then I look at, we got Kevin Huerter. Bro, we got Kevin Huerter. Look, I'm not saying Kevin Huerter is not a good player. I'm not saying that he's whack. I'm not saying any of that stuff, man. I'm not saying I don't even want him. What I'm saying is, I look at all the moves that everyone else made, and we got Kevin Huerter. It only cost us Jaden Ivy. We gave up Jaden Ivy for Kevin Huerter. Make it make sense. Remember, I was saying I wanted to get Quentin Grimes. I wanted Quentin Grimes. And I wanted Quentin Grimes because I understood that Quentin Grimes could foreseeably actually be better than Duncan Robinson. And I think clearly it's not even a debate for me. Honestly, it's not a debate. Quentin Grimes is better than Duncan Robinson. Clearly. If we had gone out and gotten Quentin Grimes, I would have said, okay. This move made our team better. Especially if we didn't have to give up anything. Maybe a pick and Karis LeVert. But you bring in a starting level, two-way playmaking shooter who can handle the ball, high IQ, and defends. He is a plus defender with an IQ. He's a bigger Dante DiVincenzo. Playoff caliber starter. I love Duncan. I love Hawkeye and what he's doing out there. But he's not that. Ray Floyd says, yo, shout out to Ray Floyd, one of my members. OG Day Ones. I appreciate you, man. It's great to see you in the chat. He says we could have got Ayo Dosunmu and did nothing. Bro. We could have gotten Ayo Dosunmu. Ayo Dosunmu. I'm gonna pull him up here. 26 years old. From Chicago. Shooting 45% from the three-point line. 3 rebounds, 3 assists this season. 15 points a game. Cam Thomas. Okay, let me. Do you want Cam Thomas on the floor? Or do you want Dennis Jenkins? Some of y'all shouting out Cam Thomas. Is Cam Thomas closing for us? It's a real question. You said you're asking me. I love Cam Thomas as a talent. Can he outplay Duncan Robinson? I think he can. If we get Cam Thomas for nothing and he can prove his way into the starting lineup, I'm here for it. But right now, today, we got Kevin Huerter. We've got Kevin Huerter. That's what we gave up Jaden Ivy for. The same Jaden Ivy who next season could become an all-star. Most improved player. Top 5 pick in the draft for Kevin Huerter. You might tell me, well, we're saving money because it's an expiring deal. So then we gave up Jaden Ivy for an expiring contract? That still means you lost him for nothing. In the world of business, you gave up an asset for nothing. You gave up an asset for nothing. That's called bad business. It's called bad business. Give up an asset for an asset. That's why yesterday I said, well, let me pause and see what the Pistons do. Maybe they try to combine, Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric's contracts, and maybe what's his name, Karis LeVert, and then they get too close to Giannis's number, right? Maybe they do something else. Maybe there's another move in the makings. We get to the trade deadline and we've got Kevin Huerter for Jaden Ivy. Plain and simple. Trajan Langdon gets a D. at this trade deadline. D minus. I'll give him a 64, 63, 64%. He didn't ruin things. He didn't get got. He didn't necessarily add tremendously. Because let's be real, Javonte Green shooting 37%, shooting a better 3-point shooting percentage than Kevin Huerter. And he defends his ass off. So are we really playing Kevin Huerter over Javonte Green? Okay. Okay. That's who we got. So now Dennis Jenkins gets a larger role. Okay. Maybe it's addition by subtraction. Maybe it's addition by subtraction. Dennis Jenkins moves into a larger role, which he was already growing into. If you watched how things were progressing, Dennis Jenkins was closing for us, hit those big free throws down the stretch against Denver. Up front 51 says Ivy had no value. His value was Huerter and Sarge. Ivy did hurt his value by coming back too early. And the Detroit Pistons should have seen that and said, sit down. You're not helping us. You're not helping you. Nope, we're not playing you yet. You don't look ready. You're not even dunking the ball, bro. 04 Billups 90 says Beasley was washed before we got him. That's very true. That's very true. Malik Beasley was not on anybody's radar, bro. I don't even really think Tim Hardaway Jr. was. Remember, he had been moved completely out of the Dallas Mavericks rotation. He revived his career in Detroit under J.B. Bickerstaff and Cade Cunningham. If Kevin Huerter turns it around and starts shooting lights out for the Pistons, bet. Okay, I can get the grade up to a C plus, a B. Right? Gives us depth, size on the perimeter, shooting, etc. But right now, a 31% three-point shooter who's an average at best defender, albeit positional size, was not what we were looking for to move this team into true championship contention, which we are already at. We are already there. Look, we're on our way for a 50-plus win season. We have 2 All-Stars, potential coach of the year, likely coach of the year in J.B. Bickerstaff, head coach for the Eastern Conference All-Stars, or at least one of the All-Star teams. We've got 2 Defensive Player of the Year candidates, Isaiah Stewart and Asar Thompson, both first-team All-Defense. We are a championship team. We have to start thinking of ourselves in that way. Was the Kevin Huerter move the move for a championship team? I would say no. Go give me Quentin Grimes. Go give me a 2-way shooter. Get me, I don't even know, I'll look it up real quick. Is KCP hurt? I mean, I was looking for Bobby Portis. I was looking for something else. Not Kevin Huerter. This was not supposed to be the best that we did. Let me see. News, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Championship, 2-time champion. Formerly Detroit Piston, was available. Yeah, Mr. Pierce, Bobby Portis would have been perfect. These are things that I'm thinking about. I'm pretty sure all y'all got your opinions too. I want to hear it. Before we dive into the chat, do me a favor, smash the like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Remember, it's a small thing for you, but a big thing for the channel. And consider becoming a member. Hit that join button and become a member today. Look, I think the Pistons are progressing. Yes, they definitely have to officially shift Dennis Jenkins into a full contract. Um, they'll likely try to make it multiple years so that they don't have to deal with him in free agency right now. They can do a 3-year deal, 8 million a year for the next 3, guaranteed. That might be a great move. Getting Dennis Jenkins for under $10 million a year for 3 years will be a great move. Easily movable contract if something happens, but high value if he continues to play at this level. Mr. J says, if we put our faith in a G leaguer, we're going to regret it playoff time. I mean, that is a reality. Is that you're going to be trusting a guy who's never been in the playoffs yet. But if I'm honest with you, he's done nothing but show that he's built for this. He's ready for this moment. Also, keep in mind, we still got Marcus Sasser. Still got Chaz Lanier. Still got Ron Holland. We still got other guys. We still got Javante Green. We have enough assets to where Kevin Huerter doesn't necessarily need to pan out. But there was an opportunity to solidify and strengthen this roster in a way that Trajan Langdon just did not get to. He just did not do. And it's a shame because we were right there. We had so many assets. We had an incredible amount of assets to make moves. Give up picks. Some teams that just can't wait to get a second round pick. We don't need our picks anymore, bro. Still waiting on Bobby Clinton, Tolu Smith, Chaz Lanier to see if they all pan out. We still got Marcus Sasser in the wing. We're trying to open up space for who we already got. We don't need any more picks. Shout out to also Tolu Smith is going to be a free agent. Trajan Langdon, you got to show me something, man. You got to show me something. Because if we get to the playoffs and this roster is not ready, not the players themselves, but the roster collectively, meaning that we've filled the holes. We have meaning that we have what we need to go up against who we might see. I'm not worried about Charlotte. They've won 7 in a row. They're hot. I don't care about Charlotte. I don't really care about Chicago. I know they got Ivy, but I'm not worried about them in the playoffs. I'm worried about the Orlando Magic putting it together down the stretch. I'm worried about the Miami Heat. That could be an ugly matchup for us. I'm worried about, like I said, the Atlanta Hawks. Not worried necessarily about the Toronto Raptors. But Philly will be right there. Cleveland, Boston. Did we make all the moves that we could potentially make to position us to be able to be prepared? Meaning have the talent that can grow collectively to be able to counter or to maneuver our scheme, our team in a way that can beat who we might face. I'm not worried about New York 360 will, because I said it last season when they got Karl Anthony Towns. I said they will regret that trade because he will be their weakest link who's paid the most money. And that is a terrible combination. That is a terrible combination. But let me weigh on the positive. I want to point out the positive. The positive is the Detroit Pistons just keep getting better. We got trolls in the chat, y'all. Go get the trolls, y'all. Go get them. Go get them. I'll say this about the Detroit Pistons. Our team has only continued to get better. Whether it's Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson, Cade Cunningham, Ron Holland, Dennis Jenkins, Isaiah Stewart. All of them have only continued to improve and grow their games. And as a result, we have been able to not just continue to win, but beat teams because we've got the guys that no one has anything to do with. They can't do nothing with those guys. Can't do nothing with Cade. Saw against Golden State Warriors had nothing for Cade. See with most teams, they've got nothing to throw at him that can slow him down. Jalen Duren either. When you got two guys that you can't do nothing with, you're always going to be in a good position. We got Hawkeye, D Rob, lighting it up again. Asar Thompson, Defensive Player of the Year. Isaiah Stewart, first team all defense. And just a bunch of dogs that are going to fight you tooth and nail. No one has the requisite roster to deal with us except for one team. Except for one team. And that team is the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics have the team who has the ability to exploit the areas where we lack. And it's in a playoff series against an aforementioned Boston Celtics, who I would really end up sitting back and saying, damn, wouldn't Quentin Grimes have looked great for us right now? A two-way shooter, playmaker, who has a high IQ on both ends, who directs traffic, tells us where to go, what to do, where to be, who's got who, what to watch out for. An extension of the coach on the court. The Urban Alien says Jaden Ivy is probable for tonight in Boston. I'm sorry, in Chicago, and you're tuning in. You know what? I might too. We got the Wizards tonight, so I'm not too excited. Like, oh, I got to watch the Wizards. I'm actually kind of interested in the Hawks and who actually suits up for them tonight. They got Jack Londell, Gabe Vincent, Jonathan Kaminga. They added a whole lot, and the Hawks have been rolling, y'all. They've been absolutely rolling. Look, the Detroit Pistons are in a enviable position, and yet unenviable position. The reason why I say that is because it's kind of a two-way situation. When you are in your championship window sooner than you thought you would be, you're kind of caught off guard. You're not necessarily prepared in terms of the maturation of your team to be able to win a championship. It takes a lot of maturity to win a championship. A lot. But then, as expectations now exceed your maturity and experience level, as a front office member, as an organizational head, you now have to make some really tough decisions, i.e., the Ivy trade, for example. And Now you begin to have to rock the boat. You got to rock the boat. You got to give a jolt to the system, which this trade certainly was for the Detroit Pistons. It was a jolt to the system. Everybody saw this and woke the freak up. They were like, "Oh, he can get traded? The beloved family ties, uh, uh everyone's got his back in the Detroit community, and here comes he shipped out. Everyone's like, I got to get it together. I got to be on my game. Ron Holland got the message. Dennis, Stu, even Stu turned into a pacifist. You like, shit, if Ivy get traded, shit, but get my shit together. Because people don't want to get traded, bro. People don't want to get traded, man. People don't want to have to start all over, figure out a place to live, bro. People don't want to have to figure out how to move their furniture, man. How to ship their cars. You got to pay somebody to do all that. And you got to adjust to playing ball. You've got so much to do. Headache you don't want to do. You got to move the kids, the family. Especially if you're like Ivy and you've been here for 4 years already. Look, I'll say this. The Detroit Pistons will continue on. I'm not going to act like this has derailed us in some catastrophic way. The Detroit Pistons are right where they have always been this season. They are primed to make the NBA Finals if they're ready. And let's just hope to God that they're ready. Let's just hope that they're ready. If they lose in the first round, Trajan Langdon should be on the hot seat. Saying that right now. If the Detroit Pistons lose in the first round, Trajan Langdon is on the hot seat. If they lose in the second round, it'll be warm, and we'll be looking at them like, bruh, did you really do everything you were supposed to do to make sure we had the roster we needed? Especially when you have Cavaliers who just picked up Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis along with James Harden. They now have the backcourt that has a whole lot of firepower. Defense, more speed, perimeter play. We got teams who are positioning themselves to beat us. To beat us. I don't know if Kevin Huerter was the move to overcome those things. I don't. And I'm just being honest with y'all. Now, I will say this, that Ivy being removed also opens up bigger roles for guys like Dennis Jenkins, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland. Should all have bigger roles. Same time, damn it, how did we get to the trade deadline and we still got Karis LeVert? We still got Karis LeVert, bro. Who's been a struggle. I appreciate his effort. But Karis LeVert, we got to be able to do better. For $14 million a year, we got to be able to do better. Because the way he's playing, he's probably worth 8. Doug McMenamin, yes, we could find out what Chaz and Sasser can do. That is a great point, Doug. That is a great point. And maybe it is addition by subtraction. Maybe it is. I would love to see. I would love to see Marcus Sasser get some more playing time. But how things have been, Karis LeVert has been getting those playing time minutes. And that does not sit well with me. His defense, his shooting, shot making, it's left a lot wanting. I think it's left me in a place where I'm like, I think we can do so much better on this team. Chaz Zanir is at least a sniper. It's like a bigger Malik Beasley who happens to play defense and has a bigger wingspan, stronger, a little bit more feel. Could have did Bobby Portis. It's a lot. It's at this point, I'm just looking at the recourses of all this. And yes, as somebody said before, I think the biggest losers are the Milwaukee Bucks. Look, I'm reading some of the chat. Y'all get into the chat. The chat has some great conversation. Has some great conversation right now. Look, let me just say, I know I keep saying that. Let me just say. The reality is I wanted more. I wanted so much more. And it felt like there was so much more on the table. It's almost like you ever go to the cookout barbecue and you send your nephew, your kid, your girl to go make you a plate, and they come back with a drumstick and a spoonful of macaroni salad. That's what this was. I ain't mad at a good drumstick. I'm not mad at some quality macaroni salad. But damn it, that's not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted. That was not what I sent you there for. I'm at the cookout. Make me a plate. Give me the beef ribs. Give me a couple pieces of chicken. Give me the thigh and the leg. Give me some greens, some yams, potato salad. Give me the cornbread. Maybe the biscuit too. Definitely the mac and cheese. Give me the full plate, bro. If there's some macaroni salad, go on and throw that on there. Make sure you get the baked beans too. The baked beans, the chili baked beans. Give me all that. And a small. And if you come back with a small dessert plate, it's love. We can stop wherever you want on the way home. We can stop wherever you want on the way home. You bring back a dessert plate, like, Poppy, I brought you the red velvet with the pound cake and that little, the carrot cake that you like with the ice. Yeah, I got that too. And then they had some cobbler. I just brought you a little mixed plate, everything. Man, I'd look at you in a tear would drop. I could sit here and finish this game of bones, game of big whist. I'm out here playing spades, and you bring me that plate, those two plates, with something to wash it down with. Oh man, it's love. Where you want to go after this? Where do you want to go after this? You done took care of me. My job now to take care of you. I'm sitting here. I get to enjoy the moment. I'm out here, domino, talking shit. And I got a plate of food, smacking, with a napkin, paper towel. That's what it would have been if we got Giannis. For the aforementioned Kevin Huerter, Dario Saric, Karis LeVert, and 2 or 3 future first round picks. That would have been Giannis. That would have been that plate. Man, where you want to go? But you brought me back a dry drumstick and some store-bought macaroni salad. No sauce. No sauce. Not a little fork. I'd send you back for utensils and a napkin. And then I just said, forget about it. I'll get up and get it myself. Because now I got to see everybody else with a plate. And you brought me back this shit. I'm looking at you like you don't like me. You don't care about me. You saw the whole spread out there. This is what you came back with? It was personal. It was personal. It was personal. That's how I would see it. That's how I would see it. That's why I give Detroit Pistons a D minus. 63, 64%. That's what you get. That's dry drumstick, some store-bought macaroni salad. That's what Trajan Langdon and Tom Gore came back with at the trade deadline. Jonathan Kuminga for an injured Kristaps Porzingis. Okay. Could have used him. Jonathan Kuminga would have been the plate without the dessert. Okay. Al DeSumo. Could have had him. Shooting 45% from the three-point line. Lit our asses up only a week or so ago. Came back with him. That's a solid plate. Maybe didn't have all the extras, but you got everything I wanted, though. You got me just what I wanted. The beef ribs with sauce on it. Fried thigh and leg. Greens, yams, mac, potato salad with the cornbread. And a napkin and a fork. You did what you were supposed to do. You understood the assignment. That's Ayo Dosunmu. You understood the assignment. Even if you just brought me back Kobe White. Kobe White would have been an upgrade. He would have now been a starting level shooter. Scorer. Kobe White right now. $25 years old. Making $12.8 million. Averaging 8.5 points, 3.7 rebounds, 4.7 assists, 35% from three, 44% from the field. You're telling me we couldn't use an additional 18 to 20 points per game. Career above average three-point shooter who shoots it at volume, 7 attempts a game, and gets assists and can play make at 25 years old. That is still an upgrade. That's what I'm looking for. That you understand the assignment. Trajan Langdon, I don't know if he understood the assignment. If I'm honest with you, I don't know if he understood the assignment. Bro, we're about to walk to the playoffs. Against a whole lot of teams who've done nothing at this trade deadline but make moves to beat us. They make all these moves to beat us. The team that gives us the most fits, the Boston Celtics, brought in our arch nemesis, Nikola Vucevic. Nizzy Noid nah, bro. He said Kuminga would have been another non-shooter. Bro, I'm gonna need y'all to stop using ESPN talking points. He's a non-shooter. He's a non-shooter. Bro, you gotta understand, it's not about if you're a shooter or not. It's about gravity. The reason why people correlate shooters with gravity is because it creates spacing. If you have the ability to explode to the rim, the defender cannot lay off of you. Therefore, you create spacing. Now, here's the thing. Put it up here. Jonathan Kuminga at 23 years old. Hold on. Pull it up right now. I'll give it to him. 32% from the three-point line, 74% from the free throw line. I'll take him. You give me a guy with a 40-inch vertical, man-child who can score on anybody. Next to Cade Cunningham, he's officially our number 2. You understood the assignment. You moved our needle forward with Jonathan Kuminga. Ayo Dosunmu, shooting 45% from the three-point line, could start for us. Why? Because he's a great point of attack defender who can knock down threes. Remember the assignment that we thought Ivy understood, that we wanted to give to him to do? Remember that assignment that he couldn't do? So then we end up going with Duncan Robinson, who can't be our point of attack on defense. We have to hide him. We have to protect him. He gets targeted and exploited. So what happens when we have Ayo Dosunmu, who's a lockdown dog of a defender at 6'5", athletic, shooting 45% from 3, who can rebound and get assists and get to the cup and score? What happens when we add him? That was Ayo Dosunmu. Right? We have to start understanding what this is, man. I don't know if Trajan Langdon understood the assignment. If we lose in the first round, he's in the hot seat. We got to start side-eyeing him. Like, this, bro, he out here, cat, man. What was you doing, bro? What was you doing this whole time, bro? We seen you sitting in your car taking a nap with your feet up, scrolling on Instagram. You supposed to be checked back in from lunch 45 minutes ago, bro. Super Morty Man says, "Nah, we're not losing in the first round." Look, man, I've seen stranger things happen. Remember, I'm from the Bay, man. Golden State Warriors, man. I still remember Baron Davis, Steven Jackson, Monte Ellis, Jason Richardson, Al Harrington, and them boys take it to the number 1 seeded Dallas Mavericks, who just won a championship, and blow them out the water. Blew them out the water. It can happen to anybody, bro. Especially a young, inexperienced team who is still figuring themselves out, still growing. If we got to face a Miami Heat in the first round, it ain't going to be pretty, bro. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight, bro. It's going to be a fight. If we got to face the Atlanta Hawks, it's going at least 6 or 7 games, bro. At least. At least. If we lose in the second round, oh, we're going to be looking at Trajan real hard going into this offseason. All right, what you doing, bro? We're going to be over there knocking on the window. Hey, Trey. Ain't you supposed to be clocked back in? Trey. That's what we're going to be doing if we lose in the second round. This summer. We're going to be looking at Trajan. We better not. We better not lose in that second round. We should be in the third round, Eastern Conference Finals, with how talented this team is. The coaching, the system, the culture. And the only thing we lack is the maturity and experience within our depth chart. Bobby Portis would have been great. Quentin Grimes, even a Kyle Anderson. Now you got a veteran mentor at least. But Trajan Langdon came back at the trade deadline with a dry piece of chicken, some store-bought macaroni salad. It wasn't what we were looking for, bro. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. That wasn't it, bro. That's where you look at your kid and you be like, okay, you brought me this back. I told you to go get me a plate. This is what you brought me back. Okay. That's where you got to pause the whole domino table and everyone understands. So like, oh, you better teach him. You better teach him. You going like baby girl, because everybody knows that I'm a girl dad. I'm a girl dad. So I'm like, baby girl, come here. I asked you to make me a plate. I'm going to have to break this down for you so you can get it right. Because I need you to understand what it means to bring your daddy a plate. I know you want to get back to playing in the jumper. You want to go play with your cousins. Y'all playing soccer over there. They love playing soccer, you know. Y'all want to go back onto the jungle gym, climbing the bars, walking around with your cousins, having fun, exploring the park. Okay, but when Poppy says, bring me a plate, I need you to understand what I mean. Sometimes you got to pull people aside and teach them. But we playing in real time. My dominoes game is real right now. I needed someone to bring me a plate because I'm up. We going to 250, 300, and I'm at 220, but I got two other folks who at 200. They right behind me. I need to stay locked in. I need to make my books. That's where I'm at. What are we talking about? Don't bring me this dry piece of chicken. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. LeVert, he might be the least effective player off our bench, in our bench rotation, getting paid $14 million. He's not above Isaiah Stewart, not above Dennis Jenkins, not above Ron Holland. We paid $14 million for a number 9 off the bench, who might become number 10 if Kevin Huerter finds his jumper. Or if Marcus Sasser comes in gunning and getting buckets like we all know he can. And Kevin Huerter's getting paid, look it up, $18 million. Dario Saric, another 5. Velvet team vision. You know, remember when it comes to player rotations, it's a combination between Trajan Langdon and JB Bickerstaff. Some of it, I think, was trying to build up Karis LeVert's value, but the reality is, he should not be getting a lot of playing time at this point. He just shouldn't. I'd rather see Marcus Sasser. I'd rather see Marcus Sasser. I'd rather see Chaz Lanier, if I'm honest. A gunner sniper. Who knows? He might turn it around the second half of the year. All of a sudden, he's 8 to 12 points per game off the bench, giving us a couple threes per game off the bench. Shoot 5, hit 2 for 5, 3 for 5. I'll take it. Give the ball handling to Marcus Sasser and to Dennis Jenkins and Asara Thompson. I'll take it. I'll take it, bro. Matter of fact, I'll take Javonte Green over Karis LeVert. I'll take Paul Reed, B-Ball Paul, over Karis LeVert. And I hope that that's what they do. I hope they now officially give an official announcement to the team. I might do a video tomorrow about what this trade deadline means for the outlook of the Detroit Pistons in the roster rotation. This is now public announcement. We are a defense first roster. You will get playing time based upon your defensive proficiency. If you are not a starter, you should expect that your minutes will be highly contingent upon your level of defense. And really, we're just looking at one group. You're going to have Ron. You're going to have Dennis. You got Stu. The real group, Paul Reed, Javonte Green, that's who would round out my 5 off the bench. And then if you want minutes, Kevin Huerter, Karis LeVert, Marcus Sasser, you got to defend your ass off. And you got to beat out one of those guys. Because Javonte is shooting 36, 37% from the three-point line. And he's making plays on defense while not giving up nothing. B-Ball Paul, what's he shooting from the three-point line? 35% from the three-point line? So you telling me we got another 6'9" forward center who can block shots, rebound at a high level. He might be our Bobby Portis. B-Ball Paul might be our Bobby Portis. Shooting 35% from the three-point line. He gonna get us 4 rebounds, 4 to 6 rebounds, a couple of assists, steal and a block. I'm ready to move Bobby Portis permanently into the rotation alongside Javonte Green. Let's do it. I'm here for it. Raise your hand if you're here for it. I'm here for it. Put your hand up in the chat if you're here for it. I'm here for Paul Reed officially in the rotation. Coming alongside Stu. Look, I like Tobias. I'll take Paul Reed. I'll take Paul Reed. I like Tobias, but I can give 8 to 10 minutes a game to Paul Reed. Yeah, Velveteen Vision. B-Ball Paul has been the X factor in many a wins, especially when there were injuries. B-Ball Paul can be really good for us. Yep, Savant made. Yep, it's good to see you in the chat, Savant. Shannon K, it's good to see you in the chat too. I need B-Ball Paul in this rotation. The trade deadline is coming, it's gone. We are no longer dependent upon trying to force feed guys minutes to maintain their trade value for an opportunity to swap out a better asset for what we got. We no longer have to do that. At this point in the game, we should now be playing who is best suited to help us win night in and night out. B-Ball Paul, Javonte Green should be permanent fixtures as of today. Unless something else happens. That's who we got in there. We need their maturity. We need their defensive responsibility and efficient play to play within the team construct, move that ball, and shore up all the weaknesses and their IQ. Thank you. 2 high IQ players, B-Ball Paul, Javonte Green. coming in off the bench to surround Ron Holland, who could be bit of all over the place knucklehead, and Isaiah Stewart. But you tell me if you got B-Ball Paul to clean up the boards behind Isaiah Stewart blocking the shots, we wouldn't be good to go? With Ron Holland and Javonte Green and Dennis Jenkins? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. JB, I need that rotation. I need that rotation, JB. I need that from you. I need that rotation. I need that rotational lineup. I need to see it. Look, we've moved on. We moved on. We are past the moment. We moved past it. We're gone. We're gone. Okay. Open it up, bro. Give us the best 10. Give us the best 10. We got one defensive liability, and that's Duncan Robinson. He's the only one we should allow. Savant, yeah, I mean, Savant in the chat said I would have preferred to keep Tim Hardaway Jr. over Karis LeVert. It's neither here nor there. It's neither here nor there. But I feel you, though, at least on the catch and shooting. All right? Jason Page in the chat says it makes you wonder if they know somebody's going to get bought out and they can pick them up. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? You know, sometimes you got to just bet on you. I say that all the time. You got to just bet on you. Speaking of bet on me, 76 people in the chat. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, smash the like button for me. Remember, it's a small thing for you, big thing for the channel. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Also, please consider becoming a member in 2026. This is a dope community. We have a great chat. These are interactive lives, opportunity to go live with me and talk Detroit Pistons basketball, also talk a little boxing and stuff like that. But I also like to leave y'all with a word of the day. The word of the day. Look, this is what I want to leave y'all with. We don't always know what the future holds, but if you bet on yourself and you trust yourself, many times when you invest in yourself, you are preparing yourself for a future you may not know is coming. When you invest in yourself and bet on yourself, you are preparing yourself for a future you may not know is coming. You don't know what's around the corner, but sometimes when you trust yourself, you're able to position yourself to be ready for what you may not see. You begin to pour energy into your passions, into your craft, into your interests and things that excite you. Begin to spend quality time with those who really actually bring you energy instead of those who you just think you look good alongside of, or you're trying to placate or seem like you're fitting into something. When you're out there and you are making sure that the moves that you make are responsive to really who you are, whether it's your career, your family, your community, many times you're positioning yourself in life to make sure that what's around you is actually feeding you what you need. So I encourage each of y'all, make the decision to really bet on you and to invest in you and what is really for you. If you in a career that doesn't fit you, that doesn't feel good, bet on you. Doesn't mean leave today. It just means start investing in what does feel good for you. So that if you need to pivot, you're already positioned to be able to start making the moves that you want to make in your life. And you might actually come to find out it's exactly where you were supposed to be. So invest in yourself, bet on yourself, have an amazing day. Remember, live your life to the fullest, right? You only get one and everyone else's is already taken. Laugh hard as hell and love the people around you deeply. And I'm going to holler at y'all next time. Peace.